Welcome back to Open Line, talking about climate change, and it's been a very good discussion. In the few minutes we have left, we had a caller who asked about what can I individually do, what can individuals do. I'm fascinated hearing from the business perspective, but what can some individuals do as well?
I think there are a few things we can do. Individually, we can talk about it. We got to get this out in the open. We have to acknowledge it. It's kind of like if someone has, a woman gets a lump in her breast and she ignores it, that's a big problem. You need to deal with it. And we now have that lump in our breast, metaphorically, and we've got to start dealing with it. Second thing people can do is call their congressman, call their senator, tell them we care. We want them to do something. This is important to our kids, it's important to our grandkids, and we expect them as leaders to act. And two things they can do to act are support a carbon offset. And there was one study done, or one commentator said, 100 phone calls, just 100 phone calls, will get this on a congressman's individual radar screen and get them to start moving on it.
Wow.
Third thing we can do is tell the congressman we want to invest in renewable energies. We want our cities to have clean air. It will be healthier for us and our kids. It will be cheaper for us in the long run, and we expect our leaders to start investing in clean, renewable energy.
Very good. So those are some things individuals can do. Let's go to Gene here. Hello, Gene.
Hey, yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I do HVAC for a living. I'm not a scholar or anything, but I'm pushing 60-year-old, and I've always seen an up and down kind of a roller coaster for what I've seen. I live in Tennessee, and I believe that a lot of loss of the trees and stuff and more pavement that we have can increase in cities. But I kind of go back to where back in the Bible days where God even warned people, you better save up, there's a drought coming. And even I don't really understand, like even back to the drought of the 30s that they call the Dust Bowl, where I believe now they're possibly even having crops. Can you kind of make me understand how that cycle? It seems like to me it's a cycle.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that. That's a fair question. Seems like a cycle. He's not convinced. You know, I guess what do you say?
Well, there are natural cycles, but the natural cycles tend to work over centuries. So these changes are very slow when they're being made by nature. When natural systems are behaving with very slow inputs in huge stocks and reservoirs that react very slow. The kind of changes we've been seeing over the last decade are happening too fast to be natural. There has to be a catalyst. There has to be some type of activity that's accelerating it exponentially. But I also wanted to go back to something that Gary said earlier that I think might help make the point about our individual responsibility. I have all my students do an earth footprint analysis. I have solar on my house. I drive on electric most of the time around town, an electric car. I buy local. I still use 2.5 planets in my lifestyle as green as I live. What that says is that our society and the systems our society has created have trapped us into a system of deficit spending for our planet. And that's why we need to be doing what Gary said earlier. We need to be engaging as a society. We need to be coming together as neighbors for our children's future.
And we need to talk about it. And it's okay if people have questions, and change is a little scary. But we need to talk about it.
Yes.
And that's what you all have been doing tonight. Appreciate that. We'll take a break, come back right after this.